The Rule of Transformation by JumpingJackFlash. Chapter 2. Polite Dinner Conversation. The half-dozen Imperials in the vicinity don't seem surprised to see you appear, if you did appear and not just walk there in a daze. They surround you and herd you efficiently through the maze of decreasingly gilded hallways, stairs and into a room where they shut you in. As prison cells go, it's a pleasant one. There's a comfortable bed, a writing desk, a sturdy chair, and a window. The window looks out over the pyramid of decks and the rolling sea. It doesn't open. You have a go at it with the chair but can't break it. The noise doesn't bring anyone to investigate, which surprises you. When you try the door, it's unlocked. There are a pair of guards in the hall outside. One gives the other a rather smug half-grin, as if to say, "I told you he'd try to break the window." You set the chair down. Its cracked leg gives way and it falls over with a clatter. "I'd like a new chair, please," you say. "Sit on the bed for now," the non-grinning guard says. But when they bring you a meal a little later, they bring a new chair too. The meal is simple but good. White fish poached in butter with a generous hunk of soft brown bread to mop up the sauce. It seems the prince's recruitment strategy doesn't involve breaking you with deprivation. He's not courting you with opulence either. The room and meal are the kind of quality you'd expect at an average coaching inn. They remind you of rooms and meals you used to share with your sister when the two of you were apprentices, before Aradia decided she had to explore the world and you followed her because you couldn't let her go alone. There's no point in getting nostalgic. Your hometown was razed to rubble the second year of the war. What if I'd stayed is an easy question to answer. What ifs have no place in your line of work anyway. You have more important things to think about, like what the hell the world's best-dressed wizard really wants from you. The next day you're given new clothes and instructed to bathe. You see no reason to be obstinate about it. You slept badly, with nothing to do but worry, and you're bored out of your mind. There's nothing wrong with the clothes except that the jacket has the prince's badge sewn on the sleeve, a shark biting a lightning bolt. Such humility. You wonder if, by wearing it, you'll be seen as accepting the prince's offer, but it might give you a bit more freedom of movement in this place, so you wear it. Then you're brought back to that same windowed gallery. At least, you think it's the same, but the furniture has changed. You vaguely remember a throne before, but now there's a table set for two, and two chairs. The prince isn't there. You hover around for a while, thinking you might get in trouble if you make yourself at home, but you guess you're already in about as much trouble as there is. You sit, you wait. Eventually you reach to help yourself to a bread roll, and of course that's when the prince speaks from right behind you. "Decode this for me." He reaches over your shoulder and slaps a sheaf of papers onto your plate. Startled, you drop the roll. It bounces on the papers, leaving a dot of butter grease, and falls on the floor. The prince ignores it. He sweeps past to drop into the other chair in a weary sprawl, stretches his long legs out before him and crosses his ankles. He isn't wearing the heavy purple cloak or the crown this time. You know intellectually that the prince isn't any less dangerous just because he's shed his regalia. Still, he doesn't seem as intimidating. "Did your dad make you give it back?" you ask inanely. The prince frowns, slightly confused. It's a very human expression, tired and a little vulnerable. He looks like he's had a hard day. You remind yourself again that this is still the dire sorcerer who reduced the port of Union to smoking rubble almost single-handedly. You tap your own brow to explain that you're talking about the crown. The prince snorts and doesn't answer. "You'll have anything you need," he says instead. I can assign assistants to help you do the calculations if that would speed the process. Right. I'm definitely going to help you read my site's mail just because you ask. Your voice is steady, but your hand shakes a little as you set the papers aside. You don't throw them on the floor or hold them over one of the candles on the table, though you want to. You're afraid to antagonize the prince beyond this probably expected refusal. The prince rolls his eyes, exasperated. It's not a rebel cipher, Solux. Didn't I just imply you'll have to do a shit pile of math? Obviously it ain't something where you know the key. I won't know if you're telling the truth until I try it, and then it's in my mind whether I tell you or not. You don't think I could just... He makes a broad, scooping gesture with one hand, jewels catching the candlelight. Swiped the codes right out of your head if I wanted them? You think that over while servants bring out the meal. You have been wondering why the prince hasn't subjected you to the same mind-reading the orphaner did to you a few years back. With every hour that passes, your information about the rebels grows staler, but then some of the things you know will never be obsolete. Things about the true nature of the 3 Sea Lords, and the true name of one of them, though you don't know which one you have. Frankly, the sensible thing would be for the prince to plunder your mind and then kill you, at least, if defeating the rebels is really his priority. Once the servants are gone, you test your nascent theory. Reading your brother's diary, are we? The corner of the prince's mouth twitches up. Feel free to find out, you obstinate fucking peasant. God, you're difficult. He makes it sound like a compliment. Damn it, he's got you. Your curiosity is your weak point. You're going to take a stab at that cipher just to see what the hell it is, and he damn well knows it. Is that funny? He says dryly, and you realize you must have chuckled or snorted or something. You talk like a sailor. You dodge. Of course I'm a sailor, idiot. He gestures to indicate the ship around you. But don't you doubt my noble lineage for one fucking second. Oh, I don't, you say, and laugh for real. The anger gathering on his brow should check you, but it only makes everything funnier. I know exactly where you came from. Really? He says, soft and dangerous. What the hell are you doing, Solux? You chide yourself. Trying to impress him with how much you know? Now is not the time to act like a horny teenager. That's not to be a glamour anyway. That's got to be a glamour anyway. Nobody's really that gorgeous. It's too late to change the subject now. Not like there's any advantage in pretending you don't know anyway, as long as you don't mention the true name thing. The orphaner split himself in 3. Wanted to be in 3 places at once. But it didn't work, did it? You and Titan are both just as power-hungry as he is, and almost as strong. You wouldn't let him use you as a scrying vessel or a puppet, so you became his lieutenant instead. You realize you're gripping your fork as if you could use it as a weapon, and make yourself set it down. His eyes are burning with an anger that makes you feel like an ant under a magnifying glass. And where, he says slowly, did you hear that? You're just a splinter. It's suicidal to go on like this, but you can't stop. A copy, an imperfect copy. He wouldn't risk you being his equal. He surges out of his chair, tipping it over, and he's got you hauled up by the labels before it hits the floor. Who told you this, Solux captor?